Now, I always feel a little bit of pressure when it comes to the final Saturday before the festival because it is the last opportunity to build that betting bank. And I tell you what, it ain't easy with these competitive races to look forward to at Sandown, of course, and on the all-weather at Wolverhampton. So what do you make of it, boys? I'll start with you, Frankie. Do you feel extra bit of pressure just to try and get a bit of extra cash in the coffers?
I guess so, yeah. You don't want a weekend of losers, do you? You want to be going into Cheltenham feeling like you're on top of the bookies, feeling like, you've got the upper hand, you've got a bit of cash to play with. It definitely does make Cheltenham a little bit easier to get going on Tuesday if you've backed a few this weekend. I'd agree, it's not necessarily easy, but there's good betting races. There's some good prices to go at, big fields. I do like the card, to be honest. I like the Imperial Cup. I like these handicap hurdle series, and there's a couple in here that we've been following all year, so hopefully they can run well.
And that's a good point, Joel. It's about confidence, really. You need a few winners just to carry that confidence into next week.
Yeah, and I'm going rogue before the Cheltenham Festival. With a double price winner on the all-weather at Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton, okay. Keep that dry for a little bit because we're not going to start at Sandown. This is one of my favourite races of the year. I love the EBF final. It usually goes to a real proper chaser in the making. And as always, it is wide open. It is competitive. We've got plenty of last time out winners, horses chasing a hat trick, horses that trainers right at the beginning of the season were in their stable tours, waxing lyrical about them. Where do we start? I'll start with you, Joel. Cracking race. I say it's always a hot race, the EBF final.
Yeah, I really like this one. And I did about 2 hours on this yesterday and then 5 minutes on the rest of the races. And I got it down to the top two in the market at the time. I don't know if they are now, but Meaty by the Sea and the Campbell Brewery, which I believe Frankie will know. Is that a pub in Cheltenham, the Campbell Brewery?
Yeah, a pub just outside of Cheltenham, yeah. They've had good fun with that horse. It won at Cheltenham, and then they had a big party, obviously, in the Campbell Brewery afterwards, yeah. It wouldn't be far from where Kim Bailey's yard is.
So last time at Ludlow, Campbell Brewery was beaten at 4-11, 1-3, something like that. It was beaten 2 lengths by Meaty by the Sea. Looking at the weights that day, Meaty by the Sea had 10-13, carries 11-13 this weekend, and Campbell Brewery at 11-10, carries 12 stone this weekend. So a proper reversal of form. I think it's really, really strong. Campbell Brewery to get us off to a winner, a local Cheltenham horse to get us the money in the satchel for Cheltenham.
Okay, the Campbell Brewery then. Yes, off top weight. The class will out for Joel. Where do we go, Frankie?
I like your thinking, Joel. A Cheltenham horse, a Cheltenham pub to give you funds for drinking in Cheltenham. I can see your thought process clearly. That's where you went with there. There's a good Cheltenham pub in the card. I think we'll back that.
Hey, it took him 2 hours to come up with that. Took him 2 hours to come up with that.
That's probably because he was in the pub. Yeah. I quite like George's lad here. Emma Laval's in good form. He finished second behind a couple of good horses over 2 miles. Miami Magic, who we know is kind of up to at least a grade 2 standard. I know he was beaten comfortably by him, but he was the winner of that race. And then he finished behind Vanderpool, one of Ben Pauling's. I think was on a hat trick or was definitely strung up a series of wins. So he was getting beaten by reasonable horses. And then last time out, when stepped up to 2 miles, 3 and a bit, won quite nicely. I'd say this 2.5 mile trip will be perfect for him. I don't reckon we've seen the best of him. And as I said, Emma Laval in a nice bit of form at the moment. The moment.
Yes, you're very good in form there at the moment. Where are you? Are you in Bahrain?
I am in Bahrain. Yes.
Right, okay then. Let's move on to the Imperial Cup. Before we do, obviously, £100,000 bonus up for grabs to win here in Cheltenham. And just whilst we're mentioning Cheltenham, we did record our Road to Cheltenham show, which is available now on our Betfred YouTube channel. So head over there to have a look at that. You can like, subscribe, you get to know whenever we do these Punters Guide programs as well. And whilst we're over there on that Road to Cheltenham, if you watch that and you just comment below with your nap of the festival, on Monday lunchtime, we will draw out 5 at random to win a £50 free bet. So all the Betfred terms and conditions apply. Joel cannot enter because he was actually in the show. So, go over there, watch the Betfred's Road to Cheltenham final preview show. Frankie also makes a bit of an appearance at the end because obviously he was in the plane when we recorded that. But we also heard from Long Shot Value, Aidan O'Hara, the Irish guy, and he mentioned this Batman Girac, really interested in him for Cheltenham because he's been entered by Willie Mullins for this Imperial Cup and £100,000 bonus up for grabs, Frankie.
Yeah, I don't think he's miles off there either. He fell at the Dublin Racing Festival behind, well, you can't say for certain where he would have finished, but you look at the top three that did finish the race. Emmett Mullins' horse won the race. That's probably got a good chance at Cheltenham. Looks incredibly progressive. He was well weighted that day to go and win. Stormheart was in second. A nice horse of Willie Mullins won the juvenile race at the Dublin Racing Festival the year before. And then in third was Irish Panther, who I quite fancy for the Martin Pipe. So that Dublin Racing Festival race that he fell in, I reckon could work out quite well. And there's no telling exactly where he would have finished, but you'd have expected at least fourth or fifth, at least fifth, but he might have nicked fourth behind three good horses. So I can see the case for him. Willie Mullins is no mug to get him in here and then go for the bonus. And sometimes it happens like that in handicap. Sometimes a bit of misfortune actually plays into your hand in another race. You know, he fell there. It didn't happen for him, but he might still have a bit of juice in his mark. So I'd certainly give a shout to him. I wouldn't put you off backing Batman Girac. And although Willie Mullins hasn't fired all year when he's come over, it's Cheltenham week, basically, isn't it? This is almost Cheltenham Eve, and he will be firing on Saturday and next week. The other one I would like to mention is next to him in the market, Lump Sum. If you listen to us weekly, you know I like him. He's been running with credit off top weight. He finished behind Joyous, who must be about 2 stone in at Newbury. I think he'll have a good chance of being in the frame again. He might just be a bit of a class above these. They're handicappers, and he's teetering on graded level.
Okay, 2 against the field then for Frankie. Has 100,000 reasons why Willie Mullins may turn up this weekend. What about you, Joel?
Well, I think Dan Skelton is still reeling after nearly landing that 100 grand pot with Langer Dan. And he bumped into some horse that didn't go on to do anything. Do you remember what the horse was?
Yeah, galloping something, wasn't it?
Yeah, galloping something. I was going to go for the easy gag about, speaking of Batman, dinner, and then going for Dan Skelton, speaking of dinner. But I've got one here for you. To chase the dream. Either of you two heard of Paul Collins, the trainer? Without the Google machine.
Loads about him.
Yeah, okay. Dual purpose trainer in Saltburn, up in the northeast, in Cleveland, up there. I was looking at his Twitter page last night, and Paul, no one's updated it since 2021. So if you're still looking for new owners, I'd update your page. Look, since coming from point to point, just look at the bare form here without boring you. 2nd of 9, 2nd of 15, 2nd of 6, 2nd of 7, 1st of 8, 1st of 11, 1st of 8, 4th of 14 at Cheltenham behind Bo Zenith and Reckless Eric, and 2nd of 7. This horse is a real improver. Watching back some of the runs last night, runs on really strongly at the finish. Brian Hughes, who's won him twice, is jocked up. The downside about it is it's not at Sedgefield or Newcastle. So Brian Hughes will need at least 3 different sat navs. But it's a double figure price, around 16-1. I thought this was an absolute belter, and we overlooked by the traders this weekend because they're all in the Cheltenham mode. Paul Collins to chase the dream, and Brian Hughes. I was really strong on that this weekend. If you get a chance to have a little look back, stays on strong in every single race, and the form's decent, an improver.
Okay, it took him a while to get off the mark, I think, if I remember rightly, over hurdles, didn't he? He kept knocking his head against one, but once he did, he has blossomed. Right, 3 o'clock, got a listed mares bumper in here. The Skeltons have one of the top. You mentioned Brian Hughes. Obviously, Donald McCain won't be a regular visitor, I don't think, to Sandown. They team at one at the bottom. Henrietta Knight at a massive price, sticking this newcomer in as well, which I thought was half interesting. Where did you land on, Frankie?
Top of the market. Keep this one simple. I mean, we haven't seen much about them. Charisma Cat has beaten Dream Shadow. That's the 1-2 in the market. And Supreme Molinas has beaten Roses all the way. So, look, I think it's priced up as clear as day. And how you see it, the reason I like Charisma Cat is she didn't have much luck last time, and she did finish her race strongly. I think, ridden a bit more prominently perhaps and in a better position. She should really have the beating of these. There's nothing from any of the rest of them that suggests they could be of a better quality than what she's shown. The only worry is Alan King's dreadful form. The last week when I thought he might have 4 winners, he had 0. So he's not doing me many favours at the moment, Mr. King. But if there's one to go in for him, it could just be this 2-mile flat race. Charisma Cat. Okay,
Frankie goes for the favourite, Joel Shock.
Do you know what? I back up the right honourable Frankie because it goes against everything that I say. I haven't backed an Alan King, Tom Cannon ridden horse since Edwardstone, and this will be the first one for a long, long time. You just don't back him. But Charisma Cat, she's the best horse in the race, was beaten a neck last time out at Market Racing, as Frankie was saying. You said was unlucky. It was given a shocker by the jockey. He thought he was Jamie Spencer at that point, was staying on. I'd have fired him on the spot, but he's going to turn it around this weekend. Charisma Cat around 2-1. I think that's why we're getting a bigger price for the shocking form of Alan King and the shocking ride last time. 2-1 should be around 4-6. Charisma Cat is one of the bankers of the weekend.
Unified.
Ever the diplomat.
Well, you've got to say it as it is. I mean, I can fluff it up and do whatever, but you say it as it is. And, let's be honest.
Okay, let's be honest then. In the 335, it's a 3-mile handicap chase. And in here, Frankie's horse to follow for the year is Cello. second, third, and so I can't say anything because we've already seen anything of Kerry Hill. Taking on Goshen, who we were talking about last week, the handicapper keeps on giving a chance. But will the real Goshen please stand up, Frankie?
Yeah. Excello, a horse to follow for the year. And I'm going on record to say this is the last time I will back this horse, but I am backing him. I don't know what's been going on, what the plan's been. He's been, tried at different trips, different tracks, hurdles, fences, where he now comes back over fences. But hey, look, he's been dining out, or at least trying to, on beating Solo, was it, of Paul Nicholls at Ascot on his first start for Nicky Henderson. He looked like he might have been a decent prospect coming over from France, and it just hasn't happened for him. I'd say it's clear that he does go better right-handed, and he is coming back to the scene of his triumph. He did run okay over hurdles at Ascot earlier in the season as well, behind Western Knight, and that's a horse that Joe Tizard holds in quite high regard. So his form here is the best you'll get. He has to take to fences again, and he has to be better than what he's shown. But marker 132, you give him one last chance. After this, he'll be my horse to avoid for the season.
Okay, one last chance then, Joel.
Is it Ho Jolly Smoke of the Skeltons?
Yeah.
And when you mention the Skeltons, you say, well, handicapped. It went off 5-2 at Newbury last time out. It was end of December, and I backed it that day. Absolutely cruising the race. Was held up in last, and one of those Harry Skelton. You either do the thing where you misjudge the pace from the front, or you sit out last and nearly get there. It cruised and cruised and cruised, and 3 out, it just stopped. The vet said that the horse bled from the nose. Look, before that, won with tons in hand at Sandown. Before that, it was only 4.5 lengths. But if you actually look at it, Harry did try everything to make it look good. I haven't got any reins here. I've got a few of these, and he's just. I mean, he was doing the old, every little bit. I think it's got tons in hand. And Ho Jolly Smoke for the Skeltons, 335.
Okay. That's Sandown Ratto in front of the TV cameras, but the all-weather gets underway, of course, not too far away from the Lincoln, kicking off the flat campaign. It's the Lincoln Trial, which is very different to the real thing. It's an extended mile, it's around 2 bends, and it's on a different surface, but it is a trial in name. Kingdom Come won it 12 months ago. He's only £2 high in his bid for a repeat, Joel.
Yeah, he is. He's around 4-1. He has drifted in the market. Last night, I think it was 5-2. This morning, 7-2 and 4-1. I'm just looking at my fancy this morning. Who's also drifted. It's Symbol of Light for Julie Camacho and Jason Watson. I really thought Jason Watson was going to be the next coming a few years ago when he was claiming. I thought he was brilliant. It might have been during COVID times. I watched him, and you look at one like Billy Loughnane or even Jamie Spencer like years and years ago, and you go, oh, this lad's going to be brilliant. He's entering the top tier. Symbol of Light, 2 from 2 Wolves, course and distance winner. Maydall Southall last time and stayed on well. He's got the 10 stall to overcome, but I think Jason Watson is really good from the front. He's just going to bypass them all at that marker and get to the front and makes all stays on well. Symbol of Light for me. I really like that.
Okay, Symbol of Light then for Joel. Frankie, what wins the Lincoln Trial?
I like Local Hero for Richard Hannon and Joe Levy, the young talent who's well worth his £3. He won quite nicely at Kempton on the start before last, where he was beaten favourite again back to Kempton, and he didn't have the best of turns for home. I think it just blunted his speed a bit. When a horse wants to be getting into a rhythm and quickening up, he hit a bit of traffic, so it was a bit stop-start for him, and meant that or I'm hoping that that's why maybe he didn't get into top gear. Either that or he's just not quick enough. But given a clearer run and even the maybe extra half furlong, that just extra couple of 100 yards might help him out. So local hero to get back on track after being slightly unlucky last time out under Joe Levy.
Okay, yeah, look, I do like local hero actually as a horse, and he's pretty lethal around Campton. Right, the listed Lady Wulfruna stakes. Now, there's only 7 runners. But as long as 6 or more go, we have 3 places for each way here. So I'll start with Joel. Is this the one where you're trying to smash it out of the park with a big double figure price?
Yes, please. Would you like to play Guess the Horse?
Well, there's not many that are a double figure
There's
price.
only 3 at a double figure price. So it's got to be Witch Hunter, hasn't it?
Is the right answer. Witch Hunter. It's also entered for the Lincoln. He's 2 from 2. Now, I said this to my mate last night, and he just came back with this. Right, let me get it for you. This is what the Racing Post is going to say the day afterwards. Slowly away, held up in rear, smooth headway, travelling strongly, found trouble in running, beaten a short head. Because Jamie Spencer is riding it. Look, it won the Buckingham Palace Stakes at Ascot in 2023 at 50-1, right? It's been given a recent run. I think it was end of February. Sean Levy was on that day. I do agree with my mate who I text, right? You know what you're getting with Jamie Spencer, right? This horse, I really, really like this horse. Obviously loves Wolverhampton, will be slowly away and will cruise into the race. So, some people say, look, Jamie Spencer would find trouble in a walkover. But with the number of runners here, I think he'll just sit out the back, Jamie Spencer style. The horse is made for Jamie Spencer, Levy off, Spencer on, and we'll cruise in there. And I just don't want to open the Racing Post next morning and do the old just didn't make it. So I'm really big on this around, was it 10-1 or something this morning?
Yeah, 3 places each way as well, if you want to play each way. I'm just looking at Jamie Spencer's record on this horse, because obviously I remember him winning on him at Royal Ascot. So that was a win at 50-1 in the Buckingham Palace, as you say. He's also finished 3rd on him in a Balmoral. He also finished 2nd on him in a Hungerford Stakes. Yeah, a 2nd on him in a Hungerford Stakes in Group 2. He's also tailed off last, but that was a long champ in a Group 2. That was over a mile. And he's also 4th at Pontefract over a mile. I'm not totally sure he stays a stiff mile or a soft ground mile. So, 5 times Jamie's ridden him. He's done very well on him. And he is a horse that I've got a bit of a soft spot for as well. And he's a group horse, really, on his day, Frankie. Are you with Joel? Are you buying a bit of that, or are we elsewhere?
The stars are aligning on Cheltenham Eve. This could be the one that gets us some cash in the Cheltenham pot. I agree. I really like him for lots of the same reasons that yourself and Joel have said. Not only does he have an excellent record under Jamie Spencer, but he's also got an excellent record on the all-weather. He's only finished outside the top 4 once in all of his all-weather starts. He's always in the frame. Hopefully he's winning and not just touched off, as Joel said. And adding another 2nd to his tally book. But yeah, I really like him. I think he's in with a great chance, and you've obviously spoken enough about Witch Hunter, but just to kind of oppose the ones at the top of the market, Jabara, she nearly won a Group 1 last year, but on her first start of the year, Roger Varian's probably more of a sympathetic trainer, you might describe him as. Take a little bit longer to get into the turf season and won't be too worried about this. And then Al Shabab Storm will be on her first start, for Marco Botti. So again, you'd probably leave the top 2 to have this run, whereas Witch Hunter has already ran on the all-weather and will be primed for this.
Interesting then. Stars aligning, yeah. Witch Hunter, decent price, 3 places each way with the 7 runners. If you fancy a bit of that. Right. What about Hereford? Back over the 6. Only 5 go to post for this one over the 2 mile, the shortest trip, Frankie.
Yeah, I quite like this. I quite like one in this. I wouldn't say I quite like the race. It's definitely not the highlight of the weekend. Sorry to Hereford, but I do quite like to have a bet in here. Hypotenuse. Yeah, is that how you say it?
Hypotenuse?
Yeah.
Getting all the angles covered.
Yeah. Hypotenuse. I think he's got a good chance. Has had 2 starts for Joe Tickle after being with Gavin Cromwell in Ireland. Has finished 3rd both of those starts at Sandown behind decent horses. Vincenzo's a nice one for Sam Thomas that won the first that he raced in at Sandown. And then Excitations had him beat last time out earlier this month, or earlier in February, sorry, a horse with a lot more chasing experience than Hypotenuse would do. But I think it's going to come down to the track and the way that he's ridden. If you look at his best performances in Ireland, he won at Gowan Park. It's a right-handed track. He ran pretty well at Fairyhouse, right-handed. Second at Sligo, right-handed. Put in a good RPR at Ballinrobe. That's a tight right-handed track, and he likes to be ridden prominently, or he has been the last 2 times at Sandown. So at Hereford, if he gets on the front end, he obviously likes going right-handed, and he's now had a bit of time with Joe Tickle, running with credit. I think this could be his chance to strike.
Okay, yeah, cool. Just like Taylor Fisher. I mean, I remember he was on the flat, wasn't he? He switched his hands to jump.
No, he's doing both. I've seen him doing both. He's a little talent, the lad. Really like him.
Yeah, I thought he'd be able to claim. Is he not claiming here?
I was looking at that as well. I thought that was a mistake, to be fair, because there's no conditions, and Tristan Durrell's claiming 3 on Willie the Builder. So
Interesting.
I thought he could still claim.
I mean, he's claiming 3 in the first at Hereford. So
yeah, but let's be honest about it, right? If we were working for the Racing Post and you've got Cheltenham coming up, would you be looking at the 205 at Hereford and worrying about which conditional jockey was claiming 3, 5, 7, or 10? You wouldn't give a toss, would you? Let's be honest.
All right, what wins?
Well, I saw a stat at the weekend about Jack Tudor had never ridden a winner for either of the Tizzards, Joe or Colin. And he's on Western General here. And speaking to Aidan on the road to Cheltenham when we were together, he said to me, be careful of this horse. You've always got to be careful of big margin winners the next time out. So it won by 10 lengths at Wincanton, but up £10. So it'll probably go and hack up. So I'm against it. It's a lay for me. And I thought it was interesting.
I don't like it either. I think it had a relatively average season, hasn't it? And then won nicely once and been put up loads for it. I'd agree.
Yeah, and
take him on.
Your Freddie was on it last time, claiming off it as well. I just thought it was interesting here. It's a bit of a weird one for me. Willie the Builder, chase debut for the Skeltons at this time of year. A little weird. And Tristan takes the 3 off. So it either wins Ardeld or is there for I couldn't get
there will be a nice handicap chase on ITV coming up soon, and he's getting a bit of experience over fences before they pounce on some more Jockeys Cup points with Harry on board.
Is that what you're going with?
That's what that was my guess. Okay. Yeah, an absolute guess. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I looked at Willie the Builder and just thought it was a weird time of the year to have a chase debut. But I never know what the Skeltons are up to, because I think I sent you that thing the other day of like Langdon Dan is showing glimpses of form. After being the worst horse to train and all this, hoping the handicapper will drop him a stone just for saying that.
But you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Of course I did.
All right, boys. Right, which is the one we're going to latch on to try and build the betting bank then for Cheltenham? Which is your nap of the weekend, Joel?
3:20 at Wolves. Frank Spencer is going to do last to first masterclass on Witch Hunter.
Franco?
Yeah, I mean, if we were going to be allowed the same, I would encourage punters to have a look at Witch Hunter. I think he's got a great chance, and he's a great price, which is what you want this time of year. But Hypotenuse, I think, as well at Hereford. I wouldn't back many horses at Hereford, but I think the way he'll be ridden and the track should suit. So nice chance there.
Excellent stuff. Right then, 7 races covered in front of the ITV cameras. Of course, the boys will be looking ahead to Cheltenham next week. We've heard from Joel on the road to Cheltenham. Frankie will be with me every day next week as well. And also, we'll hear from him in the Betfred shops also on every single race. So if you like to hear what they have to say, then join us for that. Just to let you know, the road to Cheltenham, then our final Cheltenham preview show this week is available right now on Betfred YouTube's channel. If you're over there, you like, subscribe, comment to the bottom with your nap of the festival. And on Monday lunchtime, we will draw 5 random winners, so a £50 free bet on the festival. That's it, boys. The next time we meet, it'll be up and running at the festival. Joel.
Can I just ask, has Betfred got a box at Cheltenham this year? Because I believe it may be my 8th year of doing stuff for Betfred and still yet to be invited in that corporate box.
No, we have got a box for you.
Trap 2.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You're
it's
only
wonderful.
allowed out based on how many winners.
Yeah, if they have, I don't know because I'm not certainly not in it. I'll be in that media tent, enjoying the
I'm
action.
not even in the
Can
media
wait
tent
for it.
this year. I've got a spare room somewhere.
Yeah. Well, let's set
It's
about
called the
that.
Betfred box.
Right, boys, enjoyed it. Look forward to the weekend. Let's try and boost that bank, and then let's say we see you on the other side. Cheltenham Festival is just a few days away.